We do have a quorum present, so we will begin the meeting of the Hermleigh Independent School Board on this special meeting. As we start, if you would, remove your cover and let's pray together. Father God, we thank you for today and all that you richly blessed us with. We thank you for the ability to sit here and discuss the school's business. Dear God, help us to make the good decisions and help us to put you first in all that we do. Father God, forgive us because we do fall short of your glory with our sin. It's in Christ's name that we pray. Amen. Did anyone sign for a public forum?
No, sir.
All right, moving along then. Action items, discuss and take possible action on a resolution authorizing the issuance of Hermleigh Independent School District Maintenance Tax Note Series 2025, providing for the payment of such maintenance note, specifying the terms and features of said maintenance note, and resolving other matters incident and related to the issuance, sale, payment, and delivery of said maintenance note.
Okay, so the foundation has gifted the amount to cover this maintenance note, and I think everyone should have the documents here. We have Mr. Sullivan here who represents Government Capital. If you have any questions about it, it's a $400,000 maintenance note plus interest and fees with an annual payment, October payment of $113,755.89.
Mr. Ellerby, do you have a list of what all this maintenance note does cover so that we can go over this one more time?
And
Please.
okay, so some of the larger expenditures are the turf for the softball, baseball field, the replacement of the worn areas, Chromebooks, gym walls, the parking lot concrete, especially starting with the front, the bus lane. Furniture, office furniture, chairs, replaced these worn chairs, included teacher chairs. We had talked about athletic field security upgrades with cameras on the baseball, softball field and the ag barn, ice machines. And then we have kind of a wish list once we get all this taken care of, as far as like carports for some of the cars out there at the bus barn. I think that's about it. There may be a few more things written on the board, but those are kind of down at the bottom after all this stuff is taken care of.
Any questions thus far? Would you like to, do you have a presentation prepared? Or are you here for questions?
Questions mostly.
Okay.
I know a couple of things that I did tell Mr. Ellerby and David as we were putting this together may be important to the board. Just keep in mind, this is very, very, very different from a bond, so take the bond hat off. After the first payment on this, you can pay this off on a payment date without penalty. If you want to refinance it down the road, you can do that. Right now, the common wisdom is the markets are going to improve, so if you're going to take this the whole 4 years, you can refinance it. It's very simple and very easy. And we'll monitor these two, so if there's a point that there's a fiscal benefit to the school district, we'll call you and say, hey, after issuance costs, you'll say this, do you want to do it? And it's a resolution, here's your new payment. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. It's just it's a more refined version of a finance contract.
When would the availability of funds be?
So if we can get signatures today, and I can take them back to the office, we're actually gonna try to fund y'all early. We originally set the funding date for next week, but if we can get them back early, we'd like to try to get y'all funded this week. This will just fund to your general fund, and then you can take it and use it as cash. Which, you know, cash is king, so if you've got cash in hand, you might be able to negotiate a lower price, so. True.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
A second. So we have a motion to approve the, maintenance tax note with a second. Is there any further discussion? Comments? Questions? All right, all in favor? 7-0.
Take it now.
She's gonna go stamp it and give it to you, and
You're
you're good to go. All right, second item on the agenda is consider and take possible action on turf proposals.
We've got 3 in, I think you have 2 in your packet, one from Carter Construction, one from Forever Lawn, and one that you just received in a little pamphlet from Field Turf. You know, we've met with all these, they've come out here, they've looked at what we've got, they've got ideas for how to improve the worn areas. The target is to just essentially replace what's the terracotta color, what's brown out there. So it would replace the entire infield of softball, around all the bases and pitcher's mound of the baseball field. Yes, but not the baseball field, just the softball field.
Softball.
Carter Construction gave a quote, you know, they're the ones that did it originally. Here's a sample of what they left. You can probably just take that, pass it around if you want to, it's grass.
It's grass.
Here's another sample from, this is Field Turf out of Abilene. That is the estimate you just got stapled. And then Matt will present, not this Matt, that Matt, will present on his Forever Lawn. It's kind of a different setup. So they all try to price the same thing. So what you're looking at is really trying to compare apples to apples so that they're all kind of bidding on the same project rather than, I know the Target one does have extra options in it. If you wanna add this and that and this, you know, it just gets more over budget for all the additions. Yeah.
Like with Carter's, I know they're hard to get a hold of, right? When you need something fixed.
I don't know how many times they've been out. I mean, they answered the call when we called, but I don't.
What are they on the ball about it? Or?
Honestly, I've never really dealt with Carter, but I can tell you Hellas ain't it, because they never answer. If they do answer, I mean, we're still trying to get things fixed on the football field.
Yeah, and I knew that.
And so that was Hellas. Yes, that's who put it in the football field.
But I think Matt from Forever Lawn wanted to talk to y'all. He's got a sample of his product over there. You know, they're all a little different. So I mean, what you're essentially purchasing is not only product but service.
be nice to have it as easy as that, Matt. That was really fast. So, thanks for having me, Jesse. First things first, we're passing around some samples. Jesse said, hey, you know, grass is grass. From the turf guy, that is, we don't feel that's the case. Right? From a big time softball dad, I absolutely know that's not the case, because we play ball all across the country. Coach, when I was here out visiting with him, we're really proud of entering the sports field market. We just completed a couple weeks ago, IMG Fields out in Tampa, Florida. I flew down there for that. Our team is here in West Texas. People are like, who are you? We haven't heard of you. And that's because most of the time for the last 12 to 15 years, really 12 years for me, my wife's been in the business for 15, but for the last 12 years, we've basically been the subcontractor for most of the companies that you're talking to today, right? So what happens is we're here, right? I have an office in Abilene, we have an office in San Angelo, and I'm building a new facility just to house our turf operation right outside of Anson where I live. Grew up here in Sweetwater, graduated down the road from Highland, and have made, you know, artificial turf kind of my life. We've built most of the playgrounds for municipalities and schools, from all the way from Rankin, all the way down to Winters and San Angelo and all those areas. I could give you a million superintendents to talk to. I tell, like I tell Coach and everybody here, I said, sports fields are super easy. So like, well, why haven't you been in it? It was really simple. Like, the sports field world is different in Texas than anywhere else, right? We're in the mecca of high school football. So when this product came to market, that was the first, like, everybody saw big square footages, said, hey, what young man that grew up in West Texas doesn't want to build a football field? But the reality of it is, it was a cutthroat industry. We could build a playground the size of yours out here, and quite frankly, profit 3 times more than you could on a football field, right? They're just different things. And they were highly, highly, highly technical installs. So that's where I made my name. My first year of doing this, when I left the pharmaceutical industry, Rita and I sold that company. I said, my wife was CFO for Forever Line Inc. when it just first started, almost 20 years ago. She was one of their first employees when we graduated from A&M and went to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and that's where she found Brian and Dale Carmy that were one of the original dealers for AstroTurf. When AstroTurf went bankrupt, they started the Forever line. And still today, they're the only privately owned turf company in the U.S. We have 150 dealers across the nation, 150 million in gross revenue. And we have decided in the last 3 years, we're gonna enter the sports field market. Everybody says, why? It was everything the coaches are telling us. Hey, as soon as we say we're gonna build a facility, they bring in the boys from Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, they build the thing, and then you see tail lights. When you try to get somebody out to maintenance it, or opening game, you want somebody here to get the field ready before homecoming, there's just nobody, right? I heard somebody mention there's somebody in Abilene. There's nobody in Abilene. There's some reps that live here, and these big field companies have done a great job of hiring old coaches and people that are connected in the industry. So they go around and they pitch them, and that's really it. What I'm super excited about is that not only are we able to give you products that, guys, I could go into the science and blow your mind, but you would glaze over. What's most important to me is being able to service our local communities. Part of your proposal is for the first 2 years, everything we build comes with a 2-year labor warranty. So if we have a busted seam at a perimeter where a board pops or comes loose, you know, you call, we come out, we fix it, and you don't write us a check. What's also included in your quote, which is I think maybe the most value here, is we'll come out twice a year, take care of that thing, maintenance it, fix any seams, any issues you have, redistribute infill, do those kind of things. You don't pay a maintenance trip or a fee for those first 2 years for us. Again, the guys, most of my turf guys are based out of Abilene and Anson. They travel all over West Texas, from basically El Paso, Lubbock, all this area is the territory that we own exclusively. That's kind of it. I went through your field. I know exactly how to build it. I feel confident I would be the only person trying to sell you something in this situation right here that's personally installed 2 million square feet of turf with his own hands and on his own knees. So nothing really I can't, the fields are super easy for me. I think we could do it fast. I told Coach I think we could be in and out in 8 to 10 days. The baseball field, there's some issues there with the mound that's a little bit out of control. That's something I really want you guys, when you're looking over your quotes, trying to figure out what's apples to apples, make sure that's included. Most turf companies want to stay away from the problem areas like mounds and things like that. But that's included because that's what you wanted. What questions do you have for me?
You say you came out in service of 2 years?
2 years, yes, sir. Here's the reality on y'all's field. It's at the end of life. You've probably got, I'm guessing 13, 14 years, something like that. Those infields are beat to death. I think we can come in, do a good job, get you down to the spot to where in 5, 6 years when the outfields are that way, you're ready to come in, just cut those out, seam right back up to what we just put in and keep going.
Is there gonna be a big difference between the new and then the outfield?
Yeah, so first things first is they knew it when I came out here. That was my biggest concern, just because we do this every single weekend all over the state of Texas, and I hate bad fields. I hate fields that have big lips. My middle infielders are taking ground balls that are going crazy. I hate that stuff. There's nobody that can match what you have. You have a 14-year-old field with this. I think that we can come in, we can groom. There's always gonna be some transition from the infield to the outfield. I think I've convinced myself that if anybody can do it, we can do it, but there is a difference. I don't think there's gonna be an issue with how the ball plays. If you got, I would tell you today, the absolute best thing, if money wasn't an issue, would be to do the whole thing at once. I get it, but that doesn't happen in small communities like ours. I think a new solution, a new surface, whatever one you choose, is going to play better, play faster, and play safer than what you have now. Somebody's gonna get hurt on the field. Yeah. And that's just coming from a softball dad, that somebody's gonna get hurt.
Is this also in that brown color?
Let me make that clear. Yeah, it'll be in the brown color. So one thing that's really cool, I don't want to get too deep in it, but that's a really high-end product. If you look at it, it has what everybody thinks is dead grass in it. It's actually called a thatch. That's a nylon product. And if you've ever taken a ground ball, you really want a product like that versus a product that has longer blades and doesn't have a thatch. What that thatch does is hold your infield. So if you've ever, on a football field, you see boys hit it, they get up, rubber's flying everywhere, it's called spray. That's what we're trying to prevent on infields and, softball and baseball infields, so. We could be cheaper, but that's the product I wanna use, cause I have this thing, guys, it's called the grocery store test. If I see you on the grocery store, I don't wanna run down the other aisle and hide from you, right? So, I'm never gonna apologize for giving you the best product and it costs a little bit more, but that's a product I'd hang my hat on.
What does, like hail does to it, or if it hits it by hail pretty bad, will it damage it, or?
No, it's resilient. That nylon's the strongest, thread you can buy on the market, which is why it's expensive. These other products only have what's called polypropylene in it, which is just plastic. But hail's not gonna, the only thing that's really ever going to damage turf is, fire. Sometimes on playgrounds, we see a phenomenon where they put, on decks, they put these globes and it almost makes a magnifying glass that the light will shine and burn it. The only thing you can really do to turf is tear or burn it or melt it. So, I think you're gonna be fine. Heck, if we get a hail claim on it, we replace the whole thing. Don't worry about it. Sir.
Like softball, our existing infield, will that be a lot taller than what we play on currently?
No.
I mean, obviously anything's gonna be taller than what.
Everything's gonna be, yeah, so your grass was actually taller than that when it started. There's just nothing.
So with that brown over there,
Yep.
what it?
Yep. So we have these available, right? But this is what we feel is an indoor type turf, right? If you try to, so inside of here, there's gonna be infill. They're gonna put rubber and sand in there, right? You can't get enough of it in this product to not have a major spray. Get what I'm saying? It's not gonna go down in the fibers. We have this product available, or similar product available to it. We call it Sports Grass Arena, and short, and we call it a no infield turf. Because if you put it out in the field and you try to put rubber and sand into it.
So ours
just
out
doesn't
there
hold up.
currently is not that length.
No, sir.
But
It is
that-
mashed down that length now.
Matt, I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, okay, yeah, please show 'em. So this is, you see all that? That's the mess that comes out when, at that hot corner especially. Whoever's playing third, hope it's not your kid, cause they're gonna take one.
But they're gonna put the rubber and sand in.
Yes, ma'am, it'll still get down in there, but that brown loopy, what we call it thatch, it's nylon, it holds it in. It's not perfect. Nothing will ever keep all of it from ever spraying, but we have the white papers and the data show that spray is 80% less than anything else on the market.
So like, that green right now is basically what we have had.
That's
Yep, that's a football field turf, that they just go, hey, put it on a softball field because they're not softball dads probably.
So we don't have that brown.
Ours is true up. Ours is about this tall when it was brand new. It was really short. I mean, it was super short.
So that product is here,
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of what we had.
this,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was super short. It was like, do you think that's closer to what we maybe it's shorter than that, Coach?
That would
That's
be
probably-
really hard to be shorter than
That's
that.
probably that. I bet it was that.
Yeah.
So I'm confident in it, that's what we have. What other questions?
What kind of cleats should you wear?
Everybody's going to always tell you to wear plastic or turf shoes, right? Rubber, cleats or turf shoes.
Do we ever have other schools wear steel cleats?
Oh, yeah. they
Our
have
kids
them all
wear
the time.
some.
They should not do
Like,
that.
no, every now and then we'll have kids that do it. Our kids don't wear metal, but I mean, or they'll wear turf shoes on our field and wear metal on dirt.
Yep.
Yeah,
But sometimes you have kids come in that do.
well, you know, some of those schools' kids don't have those shoes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Does that stuff that you have come in different lengths, or is it just that?
Absolutely. If you want shorter, we can just swap to a different product, same blades and everything. That's the exact turf that IMG just put in. The
Oh, there's some-
#1 prep school in the country, the most 5-star recruits, they can write a check for anything they want, and that's the exact turf they put in. In fact, the brown turf that if you say go, you're getting, is actually part of the same run that came from their fields. So, because y'all had some time issues on when you kind of wanted to do things and stuff like that. So typically, these are done as whole fields, so they take a long time from when you say, hey, let's go. Most people are saying a minimum of 8 weeks. It just so happened we were talking, everything worked out, and I could get some more of that grass coming from that, basically that run that we built for IMG.
How long would you say it take to replace the softball field and stuff?
I think we can do both in 10 days, 2 weeks.
Okay, I'm devil's advocate here.
Sure, please.
I want the shortest turf you can possibly get. Like to me, as a softball coach, I want that brown turf to play just like dirt. I don't want something tall and cushy. I want it as short. I want it to play just like a dirt infield. Like, what do you have that is gonna is that looks really tall? Like, do you have something that is shorter that is gonna play like dirt?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we feel like that plays as good as anything.
Yeah.
Right? But we are the manufacturer. If you have a spec you want, we'll build it for you.
Right.
Here's the difference, though, is that we're not gonna get it done in your time frame.
Yeah.
Nobody can change a spec and build a run,
Right.
just overnight. So absolutely, I could build anything you want.
Yeah.
Any blend, we could sit down. If you guys were doing the whole field, the way this would go down is you get on an airplane with us, you'd fly to the factory, and we'd show you, sit down with the engineers, and you'd build it there. That's how it goes, but you're not at the point.
Get on a plane Saturday. Let's go.
Hey, we have one ready tomorrow.
Ask a question.
Please.
Ask a question. President, can I ask a question?
Certainly.
So, You have a good point, some of it's short, but when you infill it, where are we at?
Yeah, that's actually a good idea, to talk about. So when you infill this thing, you are probably 1/4 of an inch at the top, off the top of that blade, so this thing gets filled up and tight. Right, so it's not fluffy and soft, it's a hard surface. The ball's gonna play true. We like to put more sand than rubber into ours, so we don't get so many weird bounces and things like that.
We'll get plenty of sand around here.
Yes, sir. And that helps us, because we are where we're at, you know?
Red dirt, blowing dirt.
Another question, y'all.
After the 2 years, can we re-up for a maintenance plan? Do you have a maintenance plan like that after 2 years?
Yeah, so especially being here locally, typically they're $1,500 a year. You get a twice a year visit. Basically, the guys come over for the day. They fix any seams. They bring our groom carts and things like that. I really should be doing that job because it's super easy, but they love it.
They clean it?
They clean. Yep, it cleans. It pulls everything out. They're probably done on those 2 fields in 5 or 6 hours. Football field take a little longer, but they're probably just cruising around
I
talking
think
to
we're
girlfriends.
probably spending about, what, $5,000
I think so.
to clean up right now.
I think so.
Yeah, we're just, 35-40 minutes down the road, right down 180, so.
But also, if you needed that shorter,
Sure.
could you add more infill?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
That's exactly what I think that was kind of what you're alluding to. So here's what infield does, it speeds everything up. It's just like on a golf green. Some of you guys call and say, hey, build me a golf green. The more money you put in it, the faster that thing rolls. So that's just something, there's manufacturer specifications on the product that they say, hey, this is your normal use. But we do get some coaches that say, hey, I want to play a little faster or whatever, and we just kind of make those adjustments.
Is it coming in chocolate brown?
Absolutely, that's what you want, that's what you get.
Have you looked at our field, kind of have an idea what the base is gonna look like?
We know when we tear that thing up, we're gonna have some base work to do. It's just part of it. We just finished a big project playground, bigger than y'all's softball field up in Phillips Stinnett, 65,000 square foot playground. That, yeah,
Playground?
yeah, $1 million. Isn't that crazy? Who knows? But
Let's go to playground.
tore it out. It was been turf for the last 12 years, and when we got it, looked really good when we started. We started tearing it up. Then you found everything. We had to bring in rock, and that's what we'll do. We won't cover it up without fixing it right.
What do you use for your base?
Well, whatever's on is what we're gonna match.
Okay.
Okay, so typically they're built with a couple different things. There's a drainage layer. I don't know your engineer plans, but if it was a field built from the ground up, they typically have 6 to 12 inches, depending on the engineer, and the soil reports of what we call 57 stone, and it's a clean 3/4 inch stone, and then it's capped with something. That could be, depending on the architect or engineer, out here in West Texas, it would be anything from just a 3/8 clean chipped limestone to what me and all my buddies call chat or caliche. 3/4 down. It's typically not your cap layer. There's typically 3/8 down to dust. So it just really depends, but that thing needs to be smooth and it needs to drain when we leave. There's not a ton of base work in these that should be done though. What other questions y'all got?
Just got there.
Couple.
Every day.
So if we get it fixed and say they have a game, something comes up, the turf needs to be fixed, they call you, how long would it take you to get here to
So
repair that?
our turf guys, that's all they do. I have 12 installers that work for me full time. All they do every single day is turf. So it's really easy. You just call. If it's like, I can't tell you you'll be here in 30 minutes, but I can tell you you'll be here in 24 hours.
Okay.
The foul lines, ours are 2 inches.
Yeah, I saw that.
Are you 4 inch? does it matter?
No, we'll hand cut them in to match because after third base, going to that pole, they have to be the same.
Yeah.
And you're not replacing the outfield, so we'll just custom cut those in. They're typically 4 inches. Not quite sure why y'all did 2.
Wasn't here.
I got you. I got you. They're supposed to be 4 inches, but
It was also 14 years ago.
Yes.
That's right. That's in the beginning of the whole deal, so,
Right.
yeah, everybody's learning, you know, so those are supposed to be 4 inches, but, so here's what I would like to do. When the time comes, one of these days, if we work together and it's time to do the rest of it, you're only doing the terracotta part in that you're not actually doing from baseline to your dugout. So all that'll come out, so when it's time to come back and do the outfields, we'll cut those lines out, put 4 inches back in, everything will roll and match. That's kind of the idea.
So where you're talking right now, we'll actually stop at the foul line. And whatever exists currently from the foul line all the way to the dugout or all the way back to the backstop remains.
Yes, sir, that's what we were asked to quote.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I don't think it's a bad idea to do the rest, but it's significantly more money.
Right.
And I actually think the way you are doing it is probably the right way, considering you gotta do it in 2 steps. So,
One more question. Your proposal on Arterior's landscape
yes, sir.
includes rework and turf of the baseball mound and batter's boxes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm just trying to make sure that we look at apples to apples
Yes, sir.
and oranges to
Yes,
oranges
sir.
and not apples to oranges here.
Yep.
So
I
we've
was
got
asked-
different bids.
Yes, I was asked to quote the entire infield in the areas that were, terracotta, which includes the batter's boxes. And on the baseball field, was asked to also include, reshaping and installation of turf over the mound, which is what we have quoted for you.
No.
So, you know, the foul line's there, then you got the extra foot, 2 foot past it.
Yes, sir.
We're covering that too, or, right? Everything that's in there?
Everything.
Up to the green, cause foul line's here, I'm looking left, you know, third base line. Yeah, so,
Yes, sir. Everything that's
yeah,
terracotta,
so
that
to the
will be
left of the
filled.
line.
Yes,
so
sir.
we're getting out.
That's an extra $3,000.
Those are different.
Yep.
All right, so any other questions for our guest?
I think on one of those quotes we had like state champions. And we had the Texas H's.
Yes, sir, that was on the field turf quote.
I wonder what he could do for that.
That would cost more, but let's talk about that. So I have some concerns, we can get it done for sure, on the logos into the green area, that is, what I believe is past, you know, it's end of life. So I would, if you said, hey, we have to do it, I would put it in for you, but I would tell you that I think those are gonna be very high risk areas where I'm worried about separation, things like that, so I'm trying to limit. Jesse and I had talked about, if we're gonna do a bunch of that stuff, go ahead and just go all the way edge to edge. You get what I'm saying?
So that's what they were saying, is that
It would look sick.
it would, it'd be sharp, but they were saying that they couldn't do this because you'd have, like you said, take out the green, you have to go all the way to the board. And so
So it just keeps adding little pieces and
Yeah.
it just gets bigger and bigger.
But
that's why they were able to do it like that, because they weren't going to the board
on who?
on the curb. This was,
Field turf?
yeah, that's why he went ahead and did it, because he said he can go line to line, and Field Turf said they won't do that. He said that they will only go curb to curb.
Okay, but if you go curb to curb, what's the difference in the price?
I wasn't asked to bid it, but I can
Yeah,
find out.
with the
The
UI
square foot.
logo and all that stuff.
It takes a little time. I would bet,
I think it would be similar.
just shoot from my hip without really knowing, probably 15 forever. Significant. When your bid's only 90.
Yeah.
Logos are super expensive.
I just don't want
Can I see that Field Turf bid right there?
One other question, your professional opinion,
Yes, sir.
how much time do we have left on our outfield?
I think you probably have 4 to 5 years max.
4 to 5 years? Okay.
No, it's not that bad.
And,
That, but it's not.
and then everything inside the foul line,
Yes, sir.
back towards the dugouts and, backstops?
Yeah.
Still
That's
another
only-
4 to 5 years, or do
Yeah.
you think that's only 2 to 3?
No, I think you're gonna get through. I think that thing, to be quite honest with you, I think you probably could've got longer out of this field. I don't think much maintenance has been done on the field. I don't think we're getting a lot of, I just don't think we're getting it. It's something I see all the time. It's just over and over out in these little communities. They're
How
just
often was
gone.
it deep cleaned? Like, where they come out and like?
Oh, what's his name does that?
Coop.
He does all those
Yeah,
fields.
he just started it 2 years ago though. So what'd be extra, like getting logos and all that in there?
That's what I found, them, I think, and it's completely from my head, because logos are all custom, right? And so you have to submit artwork, do all these things, they take time. It's something we can do later with your, March type install. There's no way anybody can get those logos in time to do that. But I think they would probably add the ones you want, depending on size, 15 to 20,000. Logos are extremely expensive. But we also haven't won a state championship, so, you know, I'd probably do it.
We do.
I know very well.
Peace.
Took a long time to get that one.
Yes,
Are we
sir.
looking at doing this before this season starts?
That's the plan.
The baseball field is
It's torn.
is so torn up, it's dangerous.
Well, the softball field, it's like
And the
concrete.
softball field,
It's like
it's
concrete.
hard as a rock. Well, we've got, we have ground showing underneath the batter's box in the
Yeah.
baseball field.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad.
So if we did logos, there's no way you could get it done before the season. You don't think?
Not the logos. I think I could get everything started. Now, here's the cool thing about logos is, once they're in,
Yeah.
those things are going in a few hours.
Right.
So, I can't, by the end of the season, you could for sure have them.
Yeah.
But I don't think by that second or third week of March that when we all met
Sure.
and talked about, I don't even think we can get them by then.
So if we got it like it is, without logos, and then came back, got y'all new logos, it'd be easy to put in?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's a day job.
You
Guys come
would
over.
just pretty Okay. replacing with the sidelines roughly for,
But
You
would
come
you,
in, you stake them down, you hand cut them in, glue them in, get out of here.
but you wouldn't want to have to. You wouldn't have to go all the way to the curb for that.
No, sir. Y'all will get to decide your dimensions of your logos. We can come out, lay them out for you and kind of show you, what they would look like, and y'all can decide.
and it'd be pretty easy after doing, if we did the infield, to come back in, just do the outfield and then match up everything.
Exactly. I wouldn't wait another 10 years.
Well,
Well,
But
you
I
just got
think-
through telling us we had a maximum of 4 or 5.
Yeah, but I tell a
So
lot
we
of
need to be
people
looking
that.
at it in 2 or 3.
But I'm not writing the check, so I don't know. But yes, sir, I think what you do is just come in, you cut that out. If you open that box right there for me, there's one more sample in it. If you slide out the bottom piece,
I've watched those logos.
So there is
So, like,
this is why I switched to that backing on that turf. If you flip that one over, this is the absolute Lamborghini of artificial turf on the market. It's a 3-layer, triple layer backing, with the geotextile fiber that is how you seam it. So this turf changes the whole game. It's everything that's used on playgrounds, because you can't bust seams with that, because it's put together with what we call a micro-mechanical seaming system. If y'all saw it, you'd say it's Velcro, but you can't pull it apart. There's a big difference, but the reason I didn't use that turf was I have to match up to
What we got.
what you got.
Well, our playground's gonna need it.
Well, I know a guy, and that's kind of what I do.
Customer service.
So, that's what we call a premium grade. Unfortunately, not a lot of fields are premium grade.
Yeah.
Again, kind of,
Out of curiosity, what would that do to our price that you have here? You're sitting at roughly 87.8.
yes, sir.
If we went to a premium like that, what would that do as far as changing this price?
I don't know the square
Ballpark
footage
size.
on there, roughly $2, there's no difference in installation cost. That product probably runs $2 a square foot more.
Okay.
It ended up being higher though, correct, because of the backing and things?
No, we would, work at the base and everything to where.
So it matched, if we did the backing, it matched with what we've got right now.
But you're also looking at another $25,000.
Yeah.
I'm just worried about the girls running in the, in,
I don't think the girls
Well, I'm
want
saying,
to
worry about
get
that,
that.
it's gonna hurt.
Right.
I mean,
Don't wear that fat shit.
cause that could cost a lot more than what the turf cost.
That's
Problem
right.
is when you get a shorter turf,
And I know if that was a parent, then, yeah, it'd be even more.
The pond got silt on it, and he was short.
Played on
It's
dirt.
concrete now.
Yes, ma'am, exactly right.
Hey, that's what they had.
We didn't have a track, we didn't have.
I rode a truck.
We feel bad. Oh, this one, it was.
What we had.
What other questions you have? Anything else?
But it was super short. It was like
But on his-
Casey, Gerald, do y'all have any more questions regarding the turf
What
itself?
you can do is just like, puddle,
yeah.
put some balls. That rain feels-
Bridget, Joe,
I like that turf better.
the last sample that he pulled out?
The thicker one,
Either one
Okay.
compared to that.
that's what, $2 a foot?
$2 a square foot more.
Roughly, off the hip.
Very nice.
But does it have the same lifetime on it,
15-year, warranty.
on both of them?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the turnaround on the logo? Really? What do you think?
Realistically, on a logo turnaround, so if we got, artwork, they take probably a week to get us everything back. We say go, I think 8 weeks.
But can we not do a logo in the outfield when they replace the outfield?
Yeah, we're just talking about like the UI. They're going to use the UIL logo behind home plate and put state champions on the side, like, and then the batters boxes. This is not like a big Hermleigh logo anymore.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Yes, we would love to
We
do
do an
that.
outfield, dude.
Yeah, later.
'Cause they got like the different colored grass and all like lighter, darker.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all been to Love Cooper and all that. It looks
Yeah.
like-
You went to Weatherford.
I thought
Well, yeah,
y'all were
Weatherford
talking
too.
about like
Yeah,
the big
Weatherford.
No.
Texas.
These are just the little stuff behind home plate. Kind
Oh,
of.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
That is a beautiful field.
It is.
It is a beautiful
Like
field.
the Love Cooper has the LCP logo out the
Awesome.
infield looks nice, and they've got the UIL behind the plate. And then that's what that field is.
He's got-
They got Love Cooper
She wants
on the
to back
sides.
and forth.
I just want to see.
And they got some other box.
Any other questions y'all have for me?
Where do you have that wrapped at? Anywhere?
Everywhere.
Where's the closest place?
It's the closest softball infield with that.
Ooh, that's probably gonna be Waco.
Yeah.
But you should see that facility. We just got
Let's
down
go.
to the- Hey, we can go get in the truck right now.
He'll take you.
I don't have
Be there by
anything
morning.
You gotta be back by 8.
We played at Baylor. We practiced at Baylor,
Right.
Yeah, we were at Baylor.
Oh, I was like, didn't
and they
you
got
practice?
yeah they have dirt infield.
Oh.
What is it?
Any other questions, John?
Considering take possible
Okay, you get it, Sarah?
All right, thank you.
Let's,
Appreciate
You want your box? Or you want us to keep
you.
it?
Y'all keep it,
What's the
that way I can come back and bug you.
which field in Waco is it? One of the high schools or
One of the high schools,
okay?
yes,
What
sir.
is it?
So,
That was a
we
TCA.
have 3 different bids here. We've got one from Field Turf
But
that
I
came
can get
in, their base price was at $102,425. We have Carter Construction, that's at $80,843. And we have Arterials Landscape, which is forever long. It does not include the baseball field. Oh my goodness, okay, so the field turf is 102 plus 34,000, so that would make it 136,000, 137,000 for field turf.
Yeah, all those other prices there, it's really hard to read, are options of like how to maintain the batter's boxes, how to maintain the pitching mound. And so it looks like there's a, I don't know, $400,000 worth of things, but it's different options and how to take care of them and whatnot.
Okay, so the 137 is this.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's what we have for 137. So we've got Carter Construction, or Carter Sports
It
Construction.
is that, but the updated quote, which you don't have, is plus 13,000. Because it adds the pitcher's mount.
Okay.
So it's that 80,000 plus 13,000.
So that puts us at 93,000.
Mr. Elder, do they have the logos and stuff on that to match what field turf
Wasn't
has?
written.
No.
Or
So-
the maintenance.
137 for field turf, 93 for Carter, and then Arterials Landscape has us in at 87.8. So those are the three bids that we have in front of us, if we're gonna compare apples to apples.
You tell us they got
Field turf does have logos
Yeah.
in it, in their bid. One of the reasons, I'm sure, for making it higher priced.
Does it break that down in there? Does
It
it?
doesn't.
You could take it out.
It shows a lump sum, but after the information we received, we could probably pull 25,000 off of their bid to compare apples to apples.
Sure.
So if we pull 25 off of 137, we're gonna be at 112.
Right.
So we're still quite a bit higher than
Sure.
what Arterials is quoting us.
Yeah.
And you gotta look into the maintenance too.
Oh, we've gotta look into the maintenance. That's the other thing too, is Carter's does not provide a maintenance like Arterials does.
And then we can, did he say we could get a, oh, I didn't see back there.
He said-
I'm a little guy, I probably should have said it
Man,
back.
you've been so big over here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we can, we
Now,
probably should have said
yeah,
it.
we can re-up,
Yes.
After 2
get
years.
extended warranty deal.
Yes, sir.
Then what's that cost?
Right now, they're about $1,500 a year,
And that's
It's
twice a year?
$3,000
twice a year.
Yeah.
Would that be what we would need is 2 times a year?
For that deep clean come in, we've only been doing it once a year. As far as them deep cleaning coming out,
It's still $2,000.
taking care of the fields, we should do it during the summer, and then, when that guy comes, he does all three. What was that this year? Was it 52 something?
Yep.
Cooper coming
It's
out.
about 10,000 for all fields.
Yeah,
But like,
One time.
like we sweep it
and then
and stuff, but that's just superficial, you know, that 10,000 is a deep
all
clean,
the other
but
stuff.
it's 10,000.
Install.
But 2 times a year would be enough?
Yes.
Oh,
Or would you need to do like 3 times a year?
No,
Just
not
2?
on those 2 fields.
Okay.
Especially ours, you know, last year we played 4 home games on the softball field. I think they had 6 or 7 last year in baseball. They just don't get as much traffic.
I know, who's scheduling that, makes
I
me
got
travel.
I got like 13 home games this year.
Okay.
And then they'll come out on clean.
I think the maintenance of what Forever Lawn is offering is huge. Because he's talking about a $3,000 per year value, and we're currently paying, you said 5?
He said
5 for just the base, it's roughly 5 for baseball, softball, 5 for football.
Okay. I'm just wanting to make sure that we're comparing apples to apples, and that we have the merits of each one defined, that everybody understands. Joe, you have suggestions?
I'm good.
Okay.
I think I know.
Is there a way that we could, like, get a C2 what, like, down the road, or maybe like a quote for the logos, so we could like see if that's a possibility? I just hate to do it one time. This is your one shot. You're gonna do it.
Right.
You're gonna have this for the next how long? 8
We'll
years.
get
you
all
know?
the prices we get and then go
Yeah.
for it. Yeah, with it.
But we're also looking at replacing
The outfield.
the outfield plus the area out behind
Yes.
within the next 2-3 years.
Right, but this infield is gonna be here for 8 years, and
Yes.
so I would love to have the logos on it and it look nice like you want it. Because we'll come back and do that next year sometime. You end up never doing it, you know, and people don't want to spend the money then. And you're like, you know, I think if you're gonna do it, you just say we're gonna do it, but we're gonna do the logos and everything, even if it takes another 2 months to do it. You know, that would be my opinion on it. Just don't swing and miss. If you get a chance to do it right, and it's still probably gonna be cheaper than.
So to do the logo, Matt, let's say that happens in April, you put down those new logos or whatever, and then in 2 years we do replace that green between the foul and the dugout.
We cut them out and we'll reinstall.
Okay. we do that, I want the old ones. I'll find somewhere to put them. What's that? I didn't hear you.
You can't take that out.
Not even a plug.
I'll make a motion, we get the whole infield done with the logos and I'll get a price and all that. And
What's that gonna do to your season, coaches?
So, we said 8 to 10 days. We're pretty flexible with our schedule as far as spring break, I think is where we talked about. And even that week before our spring break, so that would be middle of March. We have games scheduled to be at home, but I mean, y'all know as much as anybody, we're pretty flexible with our schedules as far as, okay, now we're gonna go play there rather than at home, and so we can make it work.
And no coach that we play is going to say, no, we don't want a home game. If we say, hey, we got to come these next 3 games to wherever they are, they're going to be like, oh yeah, that's great.
So I mean, we could really, I mean, if we had to, we could really start the first week of March. So I mean, it's whatever. If we have to travel, we'll travel again.
What does baseball have?
Baseball has 1 home game. This is the first week of March. They're at Ira tournament. Let's see. Nothing that. Baseball should be good.
Can you explain to me how the mound is? I've never. We've seen concrete mounds in baseball. Is that how it is? Is it just be concrete dome? How do you do that?
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways, like the way so at middle and high, we literally came in, took the thing all the way down the grade, removed it, set our heights, and we came in, formed it up, and poured it in solid concrete. Most don't get done like that. I don't think y'all will get it done like that because if we were doing the entire infield,
Right.
that's what we would do. Because we tear out all that turf and we rebuild that thing. So another way they're done is your landing path. So we build the entire thing out of aggregate and stone, except for our landing path, and we make those concrete and build them in, and then we dust the outside of that mound with Portland cement, and you basically wrap it up and call it good. All you're ever gonna replace on your mound typically is where they're striking when they're landing.
Right.
And right at the
So you build up the mound with dirt, like you're going to do the mound
With
like
stone.
with stone. Okay.
So the mound is there,
Yeah.
I'm not picking on anybody, but I don't even think it's at the right height.
Oh no, it's
I didn't have
not.
my laser that day to shoot.
No,
it.
it's not close.
But we'll leave what's there and we'll build on top of it to get that rubber to the right height.
Right.
And then we'll probably cut that area where they land, we'll pour it, and then we'll wrap everything else with stone and Portland cement concrete.
Yeah.
You know, there's all that area, mostly towards the front, that is just concrete essentially. Are we not gonna have to cut that out anyways?
We're gonna have to figure it out when we get in.
Like we need it in the
Okay.
field, but if we're gonna do.
But the only reason I asked that is if we're
But it
gonna
has to come out that.
if we're gonna cut that out, could we just pour the whole thing concrete? If we're gonna cut that, or
So just getting to your
That's just
infield is
my
a mess
personal opinion.
because
Well, the other thing too is we don't have it.
the way I have to go through everything,
Yeah, we
all
just
that
can't
turf.
be like,
So
oh,
we
yeah,
can't
we're
take any
good.
action on
Right.
it.
We can't
We
take
don't
no
have
action.
information.
So I don't think it
Like
can be
as
hand
far
poured,
as the
not in this
getting the
situation.
softball and, I mean, that
I don't
needs.
think it without
Yeah.
tearing it down.
how long would it take to get numbers for the logos and stuff?
So I could start that, get the team on it first thing in the morning, but it goes through a process. I think it'll take a week. By the time we gotta get artwork, get everybody approved, it's kind of it's a little bit of a deal, and those go to our corporate office in Ohio, and I call that the land of manana. Sometimes it takes them a little while to get back to you. They'll just do it tomorrow, but I think in a week I can have all those numbers.
Okay.
So that could be
Can
put
you
on
do
to
that?
the next month.
Yes.
What's that?
Next board meeting, yes.
Go ahead and do that. Is
Yes,
that-
please.
Okay, so
We
we
need
just,
the numbers.
in the
If we're
morning,
gonna
we'll work
consider
on
it,
it.
we need the numbers.
Yeah, we can't do that.
Right.
Say again, Gerald?
I said, we pay cash, maybe we get the logos.
There you go.
You didn't say.
Cash is king.
I didn't say cash is king. Yeah, I know. I like it.
Well, y'all just get together.
Right. That sounds like a guy I gotta be talking to anyway.
But I'm like with you, get a quote from their company,
Right.
but also local businesses. I mean,
Right.
I don't know who does local, whatever, but have other quotes too for these, whatever.
I don't know if there's,
I don't know if it's local, but I mean like, get more than just that.
Mhm.
Cause these are in the turf is what they're talking about.
Oh, okay, never
Yeah,
mind.
so we, I mean, I don't know if you can get another person to come in, would actually
Right,
come
do
in and do
something
work
that
on
would-
somebody else's stuff.
Gotcha,
yeah,
okay.
cause that
It'd
would
be
be
like me laying a tile floor.
Matt may
Putting
want
the
to
logo
say,
in
but
it.
there's two machines in the United States that do this.
Like, I ain't mad at you, cause I can't do it.
So, right, you could come back later and do that. We'll say if you have the price up thing for the next board meeting, which is the 24th, right?
Yeah, but
Right.
we don't have that time.
But, well, that's gonna take 8 weeks for them to get the logos.
No,
in.
that's just for the logos. If you don't get, if y'all don't make a decision.
No,
on
we're
the
gonna
deal, you'll
build
miss
the
it.
deal.
This week,
Yes,
this
sir.
week, March.
Yeah, that's what I was making a motion for, the logos, yes. I'll make a motion to do the infield then with them.
Do the infill with arterials.
I'll second it.
So we have a motion and a second on the floor to do the infield, actually do what is actually on the quote for $87,800
Cash.
cash. But it's baseball and softball, as outlined in their quote. Are there any questions, comments, suggestions, or further discussion? This does not involve any logos. This is just
What we got on the quote.
fixing
Right.
baseball and softball for what we have the quote for.
Yes.
No further discussion, all in favor? 7-0. Where are we going with Arterials Landscape? Now, again, with that, we do want our coaches to get with you, look at these logos, figure out what you guys, way y'all want it to look, and what he's capable of. And if you could get us, an estimate on that,
Okay.
at least, well, if we could get it in the next week and a half,
Yes, sir.
we could actually discuss it at our regular board meeting, which is the 24th.
Okay, yes, sir.
And then Mr. Ellerby, if you'll add that to our agenda item, we can consider it then.
Thank you.
That being all that we have on the agenda, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion. I'll second it.
Blaine and John, all in favor? Any opposed? Nope, 7-0.